Wisconsin is the 2024 Republican National Convention. Join the conversation with Web Channel Politics in Color, powered by Bit Central, Globecast, Blaycon Media, and Oza Group.
We're back live here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Republican National Convention, and here Politics in Color at politicsincolor.com. I'm Dr. Wilmer Leon, joined here by my co-anchor Jonathan Clark and a very, very famous established Christian rapper, Topher. He joins us from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Wilmer and Jonathan, and it's a blessing to be here.
My first question to you is, where do you see your fit here in the Republican National Convention? I assume that if you're here that, well, you know what, I'm not going to ask your party affiliation. Where do you see your fit? Where's your lane here?
My lane is, number one, to bring God into the mix. I have been the hands and feet of him since I've been here. Matter of fact, you know who Russell Brand is?
Yes.
I just ran into him, and I got a chance to pray for him directly. And when people come at me for trying to mix politics and faith, I'm like, when the nation is ruled by righteous people, the people rejoice. It's prosperous. It's peaceful. When it's ruled by wicked people, we groan. We have been groaning for a long time, so it's time for us to stop sitting back as Christians and go out here and be active with our faith. And whether that's praying for people, being with people, and you don't have to be of the people, but be there with them. And that's why I'm here, to make sure that we got the gospel going on.
Topher, when we talk about, and I love that characterization, but especially and certainly looking through a spiritual perspective, we can break it down into to wicked and righteous people. But in your estimation, who have been the wicked people and who have been the righteous people? Is this to say, that do you lump in Trump, for example, in the righteous category? Some of the other people in the wicked category. I mean, if you had to put a name on some of those labels, who fits in there?
Well, the Bible says that none good, so everybody's wicked. You, me, Wilmer, we're all wicked, right? The only thing we're righteous by is when Christ made us righteous. So as the people that have been made righteous, it's our job to allow Jesus to work through us so we can bring the kingdom. And some of us are on different steps in that journey at different levels, at different intervals. So my goal is, like, people's trying to come at Amber Rose here, and I'm defending her because she reminds me of the prodigal son. When people are making that transition and then turning back toward God, the last thing they need to do is to have the people that's supposed to be the welcoming party to be throwing stones at them. So this is why I think it's important for us, no matter who it is, it's not our job. I know politics make us feel like that we have to draw that line there, but I think that everybody can be used by God, and for whatever reason it is, God has his provision and his hand over certain people, whether we like it or not. So that's why I remember when he told Samuel wasn't ready to give up on Saul.
Yeah.
But he says, listen, I'm done with Saul. Go over there and anoint David. Right? Go over to Jesse's house. And some of us got to know that too. It's like, we might not like that, but we got to get up, grieve because we didn't get what we want, and move on to the next person.
Were you invited to the convention, or did you decide to come on your own? And have you been invited to the DNC, or are you planning to go there as well?
I was invited here, and I tell people all the time, I'll go straight to the DNC the same way because it's not about me. But the problem is I won't be invited.
And why do you think that you won't be?
Just because of where I stand politically, and mainly because you don't know. One of the reasons why I got a little bit more vocal about my political leanings is because when I went around quizzing people about the Bible, it was entertaining for so many different people. We never had any issues. I had people who were non-believers, and everybody would just cheer me on because I wasn't causing them to reflect on their lifestyle. It never challenged anything, right? But the moment I start to challenge something, that's when you start to see the vitriol come out. That's when you start.
And what did you start challenging?
I started challenging what murder is. Abortion is murder. As Christians, we can't just stand for murder. I know they try to give it a different name, reproductive rights, but that's not a right. It's not even in the Constitution, right? But when you start making that hard line, people start coming after you saying, no, you can't do that, right? Or anything else that's going on. So When I started to draw that line, I started to get some pushback, and that's when I was like, I've been giving y'all milk too long. And then when I started introducing them meat, now I started to see the true character and the true nature of so many people, and that's why I have to do this, because we can't, we can't continue to believe that we're all on the same page. We have to know that we're all on the same page if we want to move forward together.
I'm thinking about the Bible, and I'm thinking about biblical stories I've heard and biblical stories I've read growing up and even now. And I remember that when the Hebrew people brought Jesus Christ to Pilate, he said, "Hey, I don't want anything to do with that. That's not what I do. That's a religious matter. You guys handle the religion. I'll take care of the politics." Are you comfortable with the mixture, the combination of politics and religion, for example, in a way that I'm not sure we've seen before?
Absolutely. I think we've seen it. It's just that we've lost it. We've gotten used to not being. So take it back. So back in 1909, they passed the Revenue Tax Act, which started what we call nonprofits for charitable donations and religious organizations. Now, fast forward into the 50s, Senator Lyndon B. Johnson, who ended up being president later on, he amended that act to where you can no longer campaign or make political statements in church. But before then, you could. And to me, that was so detrimental. Specifically, it was a Democrat person doing this, because during that time, they was trying to get civil rights. And there's no other time where so many people from different backgrounds gather than on Sunday morning. So this was strategic. And since then, we have been pigeonholed to that because we want to keep our 501c3 status, right? 3C status, and we don't want to get rid of it. But my thing is, now we've been a slave to the government when we're meant to be free in the first place. And I think we need to open that discussion back up, because you haven't, pastors are talking about it anyway, influencers on social media are talking about it anyway, and if we all talk about it in a different way, but we can never come together and actually get on the same page, it's crazy to me that we got one Bible, but like 20 different perspectives on certain situations.
So to that point, you let's go first back to the framing of the Constitution. And the framers, there was a whole discussion about a national religion. And the framers said, no, that we're not going to do that. We just came from that situation. We're not going to put ourselves back into the situation. And then, so that then taking us to the issue of abortion. And I understand your position. I understand the faith basis of your position. But how do you get to then being comfortable with using the political process to impose that belief system on people that want to pursue a different perspective or option?
Number one, you believe God rules all, right? Are you a Christian?
That's not relevant.
No.
That's not relevant.
I just need to know.
No, you don't.
You asked me.
That's
how
not
I feel
relevant
about
to this.
it.
That's not relevant to this conversation.
Okay, you can say it's not relevant. Well, I believe that the Bible is final authority on anything.
Okay.
I'm bold enough as a Christian to say that.
Okay.
So that being said, I believe that if he has the final authority on everything, when it comes to what defined life is, because would you be cool with slavery coming back?
No.
But the Bible is anti-slavery.
Okay. But
right.
Go ahead.
Right? Murder. Are you cool with murder?
No.
Are you cool with stealing?
No.
Are you cool with abuse?
No.
So this is what I'm saying. So we do adopt a lot of the principles anyway. So my thing is, when it comes to the child being alive or not, it's not just a faith-based thing. There's a study that came out saying that 95% of biologists agree that life begins at conception. Biologists, this was not a faith-based thing.
But well,
so if they're saying life begins at conception,
but one of the issues in Roe v. Wade, that one of the reasons why Roe v. Wade was decided in the manner that it was because the court polled biologists, they polled theologians, they polled a number of people across various spectrums, and they could not reach a consensus to that point, which is one of the reasons why Roe v. Wade was originally decided in the manner in which it was.
Hey,
And just to that point real
Okay.
quick, and that's why when it was challenged again by the lawsuit that started in Mississippi,
Okay.
shout out to Mississippi, what happened was research has developed, science has gotten better, so now we can actually show people that life does begin at conception and everything else. So yes, technology back then was poor. We didn't even have DNA testing. That's why a lot of black men ended up getting falsely imprisoned, because we didn't have DNA testing. And then when DNA testing came around, a lot of them started to get freed because they found out they was falsely imprisoned. So we had to adopt that. And first of all, there was a interpretation of the law, which I also hated about it. But I know some people want to codify it, but we can't weaponize the eisegesis of the Constitution and use that as a way to give improper rights that were never given to us because it says the Constitution, God-given rights, inalienable rights. That's not a God-given right to just murder people.
I appreciate the compassion that you bring to this, and especially your desire to stay with your personal principles. I'm going to sort of add in a couple of the "Are you cool with" that you didn't finish out with Wilmer here. Are you cool with adultery?
No.
But the candidate who will have the nomination for this party is
Is he doing it now, or did he commit it?
Well, he's a repeat adulterer.
But is he doing it now?
We don't know. But the
but-
probability is he is,
Well,
because
that's a pattern of behavior.
He's cheated on all of his
Okay,
wives.
listen.
But wait, let me finish. Are you cool with stealing?
No.
But he's convicted of fraud
Convicted. Okay, go ahead.
In a number of cases.
in a number of cases.
Keep going.
So
Hold on. Jesus was convicted. Do you believe he actually did it?
I mean, Jesus wasn't convicted by Alan Bragg, but
And Alan Bragg also wasn't the person that was funding anti-Trump stuff. So there you go.
Yeah.
So you have enemies in political oppositions. Come on, man. You had Cuomo out of New York saying that was a kangaroo court anyway, because he said the same thing. He says he's never seen that done before, and he said if it wasn't Donald Trump's name attached to it.
Are you comfortable with fraud?
No, I'm not comfortable with it.
Should you pay your debts as they are owed?
If it's a legitimate debt, sure.
well, I mean,
So when you
to Caesar,
ask
right?
the contractors in New Jersey that who the president has not paid for doing business for him in Trump in the Trump casinos and in a number of his, I mean, he has a history. He is known for not paying his debts. So the point is, I think where you're going with this is the are you comfortables. You are championing that point on one side of the equation, but you seem to be comfortable with those same are you comfortables on the other side of the equation.
No. See, y'all conflating my support for a presidential candidate for a support for a more person. Let me ask you this. Let's say you got grandkids or daughters, children.
No, I have children.
You got children?
Children, yeah. exactly.
So, if you had to have a surgeon for your child, they had to have brain surgery. But the person that was operating was the top doctor. And the top 10 doctors in this country were all immoral people. But the number 11 and number 12, they go to church. Which one you picking? The best person to perform and operate on your child, or you going to pick the person that you think that because they had adultery a few years ago that you don't want that person? So when I'm picking my presidential candidate, it's not about his morality, because at the end of the day, you could be moral and still do bad stuff. What I'm trying to pick is the person that is the best person based on their performance. We've had 4 years under Trump, and we have 4 years under Biden. And I'm telling you right now, America's, especially Black America, had a better time economically than we under Trump, right, than we are having right now. And this is not a conversation it's not a talking point, but if you really go out here and ask people about can they afford food, how school is going, are schools better, do you have jobs? If you look at the jobs that's been created, it's been government jobs. The only thing I've been seeing Biden increase is the government, not the actual jobs that we need out here with welding and craftsmanship and, every blue collar job that we need. So
Yeah, I'm hoping that the DNC invites you so that we can get to continue our conversation.
Absolutely.
Please
For me,
invite me.
it's an exciting conversation. We were riding in today and we were listening to some Public Enemy actually, and so
Help the police.
Topher, brother, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it.
Good to have you.
Yes, sir. You
Well,
too.
Wilmer Leon here, Jonathan Clark here, Topher here. We are live at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Politics in Color. You are on politicsincolor.com. Don't go anywhere.